As for his air quotes list, it includes the Los Angeles Lakers, the Clippers, New York Knicks, Miami Heat, Dallas, Philadelphia 76ers, according to sources. Not one of those, though, have the cap space for a sign and trade. All right, so let's talk about this with our man, Tim Doyle, and where things stand right now. Tim, there are reports saying he will indeed opt out. If he does do that, which one of the 6 teams that are on that list have the best shot at getting him, and why is it the Lakers?
Because LeBron James, the general manager. Oh, did I say that out loud? Are you not allowed to say that, Jeremy? Okay. And LeBron James has built a team over the last few years. Let's not forget, they did win a championship in the bubble with Anthony Davis, and they went through an awful lot. But LeBron James wanted Russell Westbrook. He got him. How'd that work out? He wants Kyrie Irving, and I think at the end of the day, they're going to figure out a way to get Kyrie out in LA playing for Lakers. But I'll say this. If I'm a general manager, I'm not touching Kyrie Irving with a 10-foot pole. I'm not going to put my reputation, my big house that my kids, my expensive cars that I drive, and my kids live in that big house. I'm not putting all that on Kyrie Irving. It's not because the guy isn't talented. He's immensely talented. Anybody who's watched basketball knows that he's one of the greatest shot makers of all time. He's won an NBA championship. He even tweeted at Barstool Sports, like, stop making so much money on my name. The game has no doubt, but there's so much more to him. He's so complex in the locker room, off the court. Obviously, it's been a drama-filled relationship there with the Nets. But that's exactly what I expected. Why? Because when you bring in Kyrie Irving, this is what's going to follow. So he belongs in LA. And isn't this amazing? The NBA season, Jeremy, just ended with an NBA championship. And now all of a sudden, we got all the drama. It's like a soap opera in the NBA.
Yeah, and Tim, I mean, how rich do you have to be to leave $30 million on the table if you're Kyrie?
I said this once to a rich guy, and $30 million means something to different people. To me and you, it means it's a lot of money. You know what I mean? But to someone else who already has $100 or maybe even $200 million, it's not as much money. So for Kyrie, he's always bounced to his own drummer, and whether it's the world being flat or obviously not getting the vaccine shot, playing for the Nets and causing all that drama with his teammates. I think that's why Harden's no longer on Brooklyn, right? Because it was like we aren't all pulling in the same direction. This isn't about a vaccine stance. I think it was more about everyone just kind of being on the same team, pulling in the same direction. So I'll say this: if I was a general manager, I would not sign him.
Okay, so the Lakers, let's talk about them. 16-1 to win the NBA title, plus 850 to win the West. So overall, when you look at their situation, I mean, what do they need to do to become the favorites in the West?
They need Kyrie Irving. That's what they need. They need something to shock the system. At the end of the day, the Russell Westbrook experiment did not work. That was just eyeball test. You don't even have to be a basketball guru or even to dive inside the numbers, but you pair him with a healthy Anthony Davis. Obviously, LeBron James averaged 30 points a game last year. They would have to figure out some of their chemistry issues. Bringing in Carmelo Anthony was not the answer. So they're really going to have to figure out a way to, bring in a Kyrie Irving. Hopefully him and LeBron get back on the same page and, find the right fit there. But LeBron's the general manager of that team, Jeremy. So if he wants Kyrie Irving, I would bet that he gets Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, the $6 million mid-level exception is what it would take. And probably going to have to deal Westbrook in order to make that happen as well. All right, Kyrie's teammate Kevin Durant, he's watching this situation with his own future in mind. He says, look, I can't be involved in this Kyrie decision. KD just saying, look, that's this man's livelihood. But just in case, I mean, teams are lining up possible trade offers if KD does become available. Who's the best trade candidate for KD at this point?
Yeah, I would love for him to go to Dallas. I think that Luka Doncic, this would be the scariest pick and roll in the entire NBA with Luka and Kevin Durant. Obviously, both guys can get whatever shot they want at any time, but this is a championship caliber move, and you got to think that Durant's got ties. He went to Texas, albeit just a year, and the guy could certainly go out there and score, but wouldn't his life be so much easier playing with Luka Doncic, right? Like, Luka getting him shots, Kevin able to play off the ball. Then when Luka goes to the bench, and Kevin can go out there and be the man. He's always had a savvy business mind, Kevin Durant. And now you get to play for Mark Cuban. Jeremy, I remember when Mark Cuban bought the Mavericks. It was like outrageous that when he got the team and bought the team, that he tripped out the locker room. Oh, this owner here puts flat screens in all the locker rooms. He actually has PlayStations in the players' lockers. And they got new showers. And it was like, at that time, Jeremy, that was like revolutionary stuff. But Mark Cuban's always been, 2 steps ahead of everybody as far as owning professional teams. And go check when he bought the Mavericks and what they're worth now. He obviously made a pretty profit on that. And he also has the foresight, Mark Cuban, of going to the Elam ending, which all NBA needs to do. They need to go to a final score, especially in the regular season. I think about every NBA regular season game ends on a game-winning shot. That's what you remember most, not fouling and threes. And don't get me started. Durant to Dallas? Oh, I'm excited about that, Jeremy.
Okay, so they're sitting at plus 850 right now to win the West, 16-1 to win an NBA title. So if they bring in a guy like KD, what does this do for them in terms of turning them into favorites?
I think they're the favorites. You get Kevin Durant and Luka Doncic, because Kevin Durant, he's turning around the corner right now to the home stretch of his career, especially coming off an Achilles injury. I'm not saying he's done, but, this isn't out of the starting gates for him. He's had a Hall of Fame career. He's arguably the greatest scorer in the history of the NBA, just flat out go out there and get buckets. And if he was wearing maybe 2-size shoes smaller, he didn't step on the line against the Bucks. Maybe they did win an NBA championship there in Brooklyn. But if they get Durant, Mavericks are the favorite.
Okay, so that's the situation with KD. Let's talk about Miami. I mean, they were 1 win away from their second appearance in the NBA Finals in 3 seasons. Now the roster retooling begins. PJ Tucker expected to leave, possibly for Philly. They're plus 700 to win the East, 3rd highest odds. What do the Heat need to do this summer to become favorites?
I think that PJ Tucker has to say that sentence to himself like 15 times. I'm leaving Miami for Philadelphia. I'm leaving Miami for Philadelphia. Like, if you say it enough, PJ, you won't end up doing it, okay? I think the Heat are a superstar away. Now, is Tyler Hero going to be that superstar? He could be. I'm not saying he's not going to be. He's so young and he's still so early in his career. But how about go out there and add Donovan Mitchell? There's been so much friction in Utah ever since the old Rudy Gobert gave everybody COVID on the Jazz that him and Gobert weren't seeing eye to eye. And if you watched them in the playoffs, don't forget, they won Game 1 in Dallas. Man, they just laid a massive egg the rest of the series. And to me, eyeball test, they were lacking a certain synergy, a certain chemistry. I don't think he gets necessarily the love that he deserves because he's not in an enormous market. I think that he's got a great work ethic, and that's one thing when you go to Pat Riley, he's seen it all, said it all, done it all. Like, you're going to go there and you are going to work extremely hard. And I think Donovan Mitchell has that reputation. Play alongside Jimmy Butler. Jimmy's not easy. Jimmy's not for everybody. I think that Donovan Mitchell can get along with them. And I thought Kyle Lowry gutted it out there. He's not the same player. He's older. Showed a lot of heart this year. I have a lot of respect for his game. But he's obviously in like mid-stretch of his career wrapping up, where Donovan Mitchell, I think, is still reaching his zenith point. He'd go grab him. He'd probably a favorite in the East.
All right. And since we did talk about the Mavericks, I mean, we might as well just talk about the Knicks on the other side of that to kind of bookend that conversation. Reports say that they're ready to offer Mavs guard Jalen Brunson a 4-year, $100 million deal to get him to the Big Apple. What does he do to make the Knicks a contender in the East?
I think he gives them validity in the locker room. I think that he has great leadership qualities. Obviously, he's won national championship in college, and he's gone to the pros unheralded, underappreciated, and he has made his bones. So I think you bring in a guy like this is like a pro's pro. I think this clearly helps your organization. I think that he rallies the young guys. What a great guy from Emmanuel Quickly to learn from. But does this put you over the hump? No. Does this make you an 8 seed in the East? Maybe. So is that what you're playing for right now? The New York Knicks, when I was growing up my whole life, Jeremy, go New York, go New York, go. There was real championship aspirations. And everybody in New York goes, James Dolan's got to sell the team. This right now. James Dolan is never, I repeat, ever going to sell the team. Look at the Taylor Swift song. like ever getting back together, like never ever. So he's the genius. He bought sports franchises. Anybody that bought a sports franchise, they're all geniuses, because at one time they were worth $200 or $300 million, and now they're worth $2 or $3 or $4 billion. So why would you sell that? Anyone with a right mind is not going to sell the team. But there seems to be a culture and air about James Dolan where, they don't know who they are. And how do you win? You got to draft well. And what did the Knicks do this year? They didn't draft. So, look at the teams that win every year. It's teams that go out there. Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, all drafted by the Warriors. Boston drafted Marcus Smart, Brown, Tatum, all drafted. So you got to build through the draft. You got to get smart. So, like ever, getting back together. But me and you, we're always together, pal.
Yeah. Hey, hang on. Noah, can you throw up that graphic again? I think this might be one of the greatest graphics we've ever had in terms of the New York Knicks. Tim, look at that, right? I mean, that just explains the Knicks to you, certainly in the last little while. So, all right, thanks, producer Noah. By the way, Knicks plus 8,000 to win the East, 200 to 1 to win the NBA title. All right, free agency starting on Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. What bet are you making today related to the coming flurry of deals?
I think that if the Heat get Donovan Mitchell, now let's get excited. You know what I mean? Let's get excited about the Miami Heat. But the team that I'm most excited about for the NBA championship, I'm ride or die. Let's do the Giddy right now. I'm all about the Giddy. I'm all about Ja Morant. I think the Grizzlies gave the Warriors the best series of any team out there in the NBA. That's right. So here I am doing the Gritty. It's not that great. I'm sitting down and I got shorts on in my parents' basement. But if you add in, you go out there and you get a little veteran presence. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. learned a little bit with no Ja Morant in the playoffs, because let's not forget, he got hurt in that series against Golden State. They got some beef with the Warriors. They're trending in the right direction. I talked about so many people around the final turn, in the deep stretch. This is a team that's just leaving the starting gates of their career, and they have an unselfish superstar, and they have Jaren Jackson Jr. There is value here with the Grizzlies, and they ain't scared. You can't be scared, as Usher said, or is it Ursher? All right, they're not scared. They have the recipe. They have a superstar. The Grizzlies, Giddy to the championship next year.
Wait, are you saying Giddy or Gritty?
I think it's Gritty, to be honest.
It is
I'm
the
not
Gritty.
sure.
It is the Gritty. Amanda just clarified. Isn't it the Gritty? Yeah. All right. CBS Sports basketball wagering expert, NBA analyst Tim Doyle, tee you things up as we get set for free agency on Thursday, which 6 p.m. Eastern time. Doing the Giddy. Maybe that's what we'll call it for Doyle. It's just called the Giddy. There's the NBA title odds for next season. Warriors 5-1, Celtics 6-1, Bucks and Clippers plus 750. Then you have the Nets at plus 850, Phoenix Suns 9-1.
Pistons fans have hope, perhaps the most real hope they've had in a long time. After drafting Jaden Ivey 5th overall in this year's draft, followed by the #1 overall pick last year, Cade Cunningham, Pistons fans think, even if it's not fully our year, we have the potential to be damn good. Pistons have only made it to the postseason twice in the past 12 years. They have not won a playoff game since 2008. Let's welcome in our NBA expert, Tim Doyle here. Tim, people at HQ do not do this. I'm going to give you credit where credit is due. You said the Grizzlies were going to be good this past season. Great, even they were. Now you are making a declaration about the Pistons team. I heard you say that the Pistons are going to make the playoffs. I would like a declaration right now so we can record this and have it as the season rolls along.
The Pistons may not make the playoffs, but they're going to be close. I'm telling you, they may be playing game, Amanda. They have so much excitement around them, and I started betting them this past season. Now you're going to go, they're one of the worst teams in the NBA. You're right. But they went through a stretch where 23 games, Amanda, they went 21-2 against the spread. That, to me, told me that Vegas could not figure out this team, and I watched them grow. And now there's an excitement to the Pistons. Cade Cunningham is going to be a top 5 player in the NBA at some point. Is it going to happen next year? Probably not. But there are massive jumps that players take from year 1 to year 2 because the game starts to slow down. Cade Cunningham played in no preseason games. They just thrusted him out there. You had to go to some small town to do local news to get your reps. Do you remember what town they sent you off to? Cade Cunningham never got those reps, Amanda.
No, that's true. Okay, so give me your outlook then for Cade Cunningham. Initially you said top 5, then you walked, you're walking a lot of stuff back here, Tim, because initially you said the Pistons were a playoff team. Now you're like, maybe. Then you said Cade Cunningham top 5. Now you're like, maybe. So here's the thing. Cade Cunningham, year 2 last year, he averaged 17.4 points, 5.6 assists. 5.6 assists, 5.5 rebounds, became the youngest Pistons to ever record a triple-double. Then give me your realistic outlook, what you really believe about Cade Cunningham.
I think he's going to average 23 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and the Pistons are going to hover around 41 to 43 wins. Now, I can't look into a crystal ball right now and tell you that Kyrie Irving is going to stay in Brooklyn and Kevin Durant. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think they're going to be really, really close for crying out. And then they go out there, get Jaden Ivey, because Jaden Ivey didn't want to go to Sacramento, because nobody wants to go to Sacramento except for Joe Musso. When he was doing small market, boo-boo, they kicked him in the old Sacramento. Get your reps out there. Where were you getting your reps early in your career, and how much money were you making? Name the first town you were in.
Oklahoma City, and I think I made $125 a day. That was about it. We all remember that first contractor money, right? That was exactly what it was. All right, talk to me about Marvin Bagley III entering the offseason as a restricted free agent. What would you like to see happen here with him?
Yeah, I think that he needed a change of scenery. That sometimes the streets were getting too hot. Another guy, what city was he in? Sacramento. Jaden Ivey didn't even work out for the Kings. He's like, nah, cuz I ain't going there. And Marvin Bagley was there toiling. Now you get him a change of scenery. You get him up playing with Cade Cunningham. I mean, this guy was supposed to be an NBA All-Star, and got off to a lackluster start. I thought he just lost confidence, and he needed to kind of have the glow up. I don't think the glow up necessarily has happened yet, but it could. And I think that he's so young and so talented. I think now he's learning how to be a professional, and now you put him around some other guys this is an exciting team that has some pieces right now. And I think if Bagley's able to shoot the 3 consistently, not 40%, but we can shoot it 33, 34%, stretch the defense, allow Cade Cunningham and Ivy to get in those pick and roll opportunities. He left Sacramento. And what we've noticed about Joe Musso, he's emerged as a top 3 anchor at CBS Sports HQ. I'm not going to put the rankings out there, okay? But he's top 3 in my eyes. Why? Because he got out of Sacramento.
So should we send you to Sacramento to really kickstart your career? Is that what's happening here, Tim?
We're not friends, okay? We're not friends.
It was just too easy. I'm very sorry. I'll move along. Free agents the Pistons should target. What do you think?
Miles Bridges is someone that is kind of scary to go out there and pay him the max contract, but who knows with the new TV deal, what could happen where all of a sudden his contract in 3 or 4 years, you're like, oh, that's all we paid him? He took a huge step in his game, shot the 3, ultra consistent. Obviously, he's a highlight type guy, but his offensive game's averaging over 20 points a game. He showed me he put in the work. I was at the gym today, curling 25-pound weights, and someone grabbed me and they go, what do you think of the draft? I don't know what to think. Well, these guys are 19 years old. They're going to really have to expand on their games. So what I've seen from Miles Bridges is he's worked. I remember watching him at Michigan State. He could not dribble with his right hand. And not only could he do that, now he can bang back down, step back threes. He's put in the work to get better. I don't know if Paolo Banchero is going to do that. It's hard to predict. I know this, 19-year-old Tim Doyle, you give him $4 million. You know what I'm doing? Oh, I'm making it rain. I'm enjoying myself. I don't know if I'm in the gym every single day. So I know that now as a 39-year-old dad who drives a minivan. So I think that, it's good. I think if you can get Miles Bridges, you go get Miles Bridges.
I really thought you were going to go with 30 there for a second. And I was going to be all on board because I was just going to skyrocket back to 28. Mr. Moneybags, you got your money behind you. Let's talk about the Pistons' odds entering free agency right now. 250 to 1 to win the East, 500 to 1 to win the title. Is there any money you're sprinkling on some of these Pistons odds?
I'm not this year, okay? And they're probably, a couple of years away. I'm high on the Grizzlies, right? What's it called? What's the dance called I was doing?
I think the Giddy.
Thank you.
Can't do it. I can't dance. I'm horrible.
I like to face-to-face dance. My wife prefers to back it up. So we're still getting in that rhythm right now. But my dad, Dan Doyle, played for the Pistons. And he doesn't like to talk much, Amanda, about his playing days. But we all became Piston fans and the bad boys and won NBA championships. But I finally got him to speak one day. I filled him up with some Maker's Mark, and I said, what was your Piston spirit experience like? And he goes, well, I was a 30-30-30 guy. So I'm a little kid. I'm thinking, man, 30 points, 30 rebounds, and 30 assists. I go, you averaged that in the NBA? I didn't know. He goes, no, I didn't average that. He goes, if we were up by 30 or down by 30, I got in for like 30 seconds. So I got his stats and his playing career completely wrong with Detroit. But I like the building blocks there. They fall into Ivy because he don't want to go to Sacramento. Can't blame you, Ivy. I don't want to go to Sacramento either, okay? So now you got a playmaker who I think has Ja Morant capabilities. You got Cade Cunningham, who I said is going to be a top 5 player in the NBA one day. Like, you got some building blocks there. This team ggets me excited. Durant is a kind of a lob, block shots, rebound, easy to play. And now he's going to be playing with some pretty creative guys. Bay can stretch out. That's why when I talked about Bagley, like, he doesn't have to be great from 3, but he just has to be like, when he's open, he can make a 3 here and there because they got some really interesting pieces. So, like I said, Cade Cunningham, 22 points a game. Pistons win between 41 and 43 games. Is that enough for you, Amanda? I'm standing on a Pistons island all by myself.
I don't know if you are, though. Like I said, I think you walked some of your stuff back. But, there's some like Rip's on the island with you, right? And that's a good time. Like you and Rip hanging out, it's gonna be great. Rip is a better dancer than both of us. He can do the gritty. I saw him do it actually in front of the Eiffel Tower. His kids are better than him, but he can do it. Tim Doyle, work on that. We're gonna get a full shot of you next time we see you on air, and we're gonna make you do it, even if it's in your shorts there. Key off-season dates. We got free agency beginning in just a matter of days on June 30th. Vegas Summer League, July 7th through the 17th, and training camps kicking off in September. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.